Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. I have been wanting to do this video for a little while. I don't even remember where I got this, but today I'm going to show you how we go from this, a swatch or a sample thingamajig, to something like this. So these are samples of roofing or siding. So I don't know, let me pick a different color here. Maybe you can see sort of that faux wood grain textural kind of thing that's happening there. The other side is smooth. So this was all held together with one of these little post thingamajigs. But just because I was doing a few more, I'm just going to leave it taken apart. Okay, so the very first one I did was this one, and it's sort of on a green. And it was obviously when I had my Edith Holden, fussy cuts out. I had a scrap of a piece of this satin ribbon. I had some muslin that was, frayed and so on. And that was a, let me kill that little guy. What was I saying? Oh yeah, fussy cut of Edith Holden. There's some text. Started gluing all this down and added this ratty little piece of muslin here in the hole that is pre-made. So no need to punch a hole, no need to set an eyelet. I will say, though, that I didn't know how well anything would stick. Let me get that little annoying... Isn't it too early for those little flies? So I was using this sponge block, sanding block, to roughen up the surface of the sample, the siding sample. So I just embellished a bit with those labels, and that was it. Now, of course, this is not even 2 inches, so it's about 1 7/8 inches, and it is 9 inches long, which means that this would be, if this was a traditional size, if this was going into a traditional size journal, it would end up sticking out beyond the top of the page. It could be, I'm envisioning it as a bookmark. Now, in none of the ones that I've worked on have I worried about backing it, with paper to make it a journaling spot, because honestly, sometimes I think, there's that little guy again. Probably because I turned some lights on. It's 10 o'clock here at night. Anyway, I guess, that remains an option. If a person really felt that, oh my goodness, I need another, few square inches of space to write. I'm not worrying about that. So that was number one. Then I had this vintage book that was, Mother Goose, fairy tales and so on. So, and I love this design. Now I think, I did a little... This florally thing was like an L-shaped border on the page. The goose is one of several geese. Here are a few more. And so I just layered this so that it would kind of work. And I used a piece of book page from the same book, because then the color matches and so on. And for the longest time, it stayed that way. I have some cheesecloth. Now this has some kind of a gritty feeling to it. I think this might have been something that I salvaged when I took something apart. And just a while ago, as I was thinking, let me get some supplies together and do this video, I used one of my pre-stamped little images. And that one also has a little bit of just a running stitch that I did around the image and a couple of tags. Now this is obviously kind of greeny gray, greeny beige, grayish. It's grayish in color. So, you know, it would go in a particular style of journal. So then I thought, okay, I can talk about that till the cows come home, but what am I going to show you? So then I picked one of the white pieces, and I had a bunch of these little thumbnails, I guess you could call them, from just a dollar store month at a glance calendar. And it had inspirational messages on it. So I thought, okay, why not use this? Use these two of these. This one was perfect. This one I had to trim a couple of times to get it to fit on there. Did a teeny tiny thumb notch, and again, as is my style, I offset it so I don't have to worry about centering. And I thought I would just glue these two on, and this would be like a bookmark. You know what? Flip this one over. How clean is that? I was going to do that on a different one, but we can do it on this white one. And I think it might be easier since I'm going to have such small, oh, now this is going to be wet. I'm going to have such small little surfaces of glue that are going to make contact. What is that gritty sound? Might as well wipe this side down as well. Okay, so we'll just give that a moment to dry. So I guess the disadvantage to using the smooth side is that you then have a name and a symbol of some sort. Oh, I guess that's a crown. That must be the manufacturer's symbol, Royal Building Products. So my intention was to cover that up. Now this, I don't know, can you see that? I don't know how thick that is. I have not attempted to shorten this. Now I suppose, maybe I should try, well, let this dry, and why don't I try cutting it? Now I'm not going to risk either of my Fisker's cutting machines, cutting, things. I will attempt to do this with a knife and again, typical Hazel. Why would I just take an inch or two off? Let's cut this thing in half and get double our money's worth. I don't even know if I paid for these, to be honest. Okay, what did I say? 9 inches, so that would be like 4.5. That would be dumb though, wouldn't it? Okay, let's stick with some sort of a more sensible plan. I should get a cutting thing that has some lines on it. Wouldn't that be a little wiser? This is heavy duty, but of course none of this is numbered. But I can line it up with, we'll make a mark. Anyway, I hope you are well. I'm trying to get back in the swing of doing some regular videos, maybe in batches. You know what? 9 isn't so bad. But let's take an inch off. I'm just trying to line this up because, even on a distance of less than 2 inches, it is possible to go crooked. How would I know that? Well, let me just say, some little birdie told me. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see that. I can barely see it. Maybe I'll pick a heavier duty knife. Not my favorite. I just like things that are more petite and fit better into my hand. But maybe we don't need such a long ruler. Maybe we can, maybe this will be a little easier to, are those lines kind of annoying you? Maybe we can get through this quicker with a little heavier knife. So of course, the trick is to not let the ruler slip. Because then we'll have a new problem to deal with. Okay, now the issue here. So not that bad. I mean, that was a few passes, but I'm just going to go over my garbage can here for a minute and try to take down that, kind of smooth out that edge a bit, because it seemed a bit sharp compared to I don't think that was the greatest cut I've ever made in the world. Like, why does it seem to veer over? Ay. Anyway, okay, I will fix that on my own time. But now we know that with a knife and a little bit of elbow grease, a person can cut through it. So, mystery or question answered. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. We have a little more room to work. Okay, so by now this must be dry. So I think this is probably a job for Fabri-Tac. I think I'm going to, now that, I wonder if my corner rounder, I mean, I suppose I could probably try to do that. Let's see, that angle may be wrong. Or that curvature may be wrong. Yeah. That wasn't a very smart thing to do. But am I going to worry about it? Maybe I'm just going to drop it a wee bit so it lines up better, and then I'll have to trim it with scissors. So all I'm going to do in typical pocket formation is add a bead of glue in a sort of a horseshoe shape. Now, I can't tell on this particular piece. On some of these, I have backed them because I thought they'd be cute little journaling cards, just tuck into a pocket. Now, this, of course, is going to be a very tiny little pocket because the surface itself isn't even 2 inches wide. Yeah, so that's what I'll have to trim off, but I think it'll look better than what I managed to do with my little bright idea. So there's that. I thought, again, I've said this before, I'll say it again, darker color, more visual weight. I tend to put things that look heavier lower down. That's just a design phobia, preference, principle. So I'm thinking, again, you try to visualize, well, what might I put in these teeny weeny little pockets So you want a little bit of distance between them. So let's slap this guy down too. And of course I will then at some point look for ribbon. Oh, and I have to say, I have another 2 ideas. And I'm thinking, holy cow, I wonder if the people at home know how much running around, thinking, decision-making, backtracking, looking some more, changing horses in midstream actually go on before the camera even gets turned on and the actual filming begins. Okay, so I will leave these guys to set and, at some point probably pick some fibers in the pinky family to finish that off. I didn't show you number 3. This, I had just bought some new, napkins, and I wanted to try this out. So this is on kind of, a light beige. So you've probably learned, maybe the hard way, that if the background on your napkin is white, light, whatever, you want to be adhering it to something that's light, white, and so on. If it has a dark background, like sometimes you'll have a napkin with a black background or dark navy, in that case, you can put it on a darker surface. But if I were to put this on whatever the darkest color is here, that would have been a design mistake. Now, again, I roughed up the surface a bit. I'm assuming that I did what I always do, which was a glue stick. Now, it must have been a little wider, or I was trying to get the edges, cleaned up before it was totally dry or whatever. So there is some ripping that went on, and that's a-okay. So some here and here and here. So once it started happening on this side, I was just quite content to, let a little more rip off. And here is a little boo-boo where I must have been too aggressive in my smoothing out. So clearly there has to be something put there. Again, because of this shape, the proportions, you need something that is long and skinny, or a couple of things that are long and skinny. So I thought, well, I have a number of fussy cut flowers. I have this whole pouch, plus, a binder. Surely, to goodness, there must be something in there that would be good. But, you start, now this yarrow, kind of, it's not good. There's this. Again, maybe it's better, but I wouldn't want to glue this down unless I cleaned up some more of that white stuff. So I'm not going to do that. Whoops. This isn't bad, perhaps, but it also seems to be lost on there. There's this. Now the proportions are good here. Some of the leaves would have to be trimmed off. I don't know if I like that or not. And because this is a very straight edge here at the bottom, I would probably want to, soften that in some way. So I don't know what that would be. And then as I kept looking, because I had another problem to solve, I came across this one. And this is just out of one of those adult coloring books. And it, they'd colored the pages, I guess, to their liking, or how they envisioned the coloring book to be. And this was just one of those things. And I kind of like the look of it, you know, with the black outline and so on. Does that do anything? I'm not sure. So I'm going to set this aside because I don't, honestly, I don't want to keep you here all night, but I also don't want to make a rash decision that I might not be happy with if I just think it through and do something different. Now, I could look for some blue paper or more than likely cardstock. Actually, I do have this zipper pouch with a bunch of cardstock scraps. But again, I don't think I want to take your time to find the right, oh, that might be it. You know, so I want time to think about that. Incidentally, I will sort these by color and put them into my colored pouches. You'll also notice, if you've got an eagle eye, that I have some duotang covers here. Because really, who uses duotangs? That's a nice little pad. Anyway, so, you know, sometimes I know the conventional wisdom is it's not rocket science. We're not trying to save the world, blah, blah, blah. But I think most of us take pride in our work, and most of us want it to be nice. You know, we don't just want it to be done. We want to be happy with it. We want to be proud of it. I guess if I offset that, that's a little better. It covers that. It exposes that. That might be what I end up doing. However, I'm not going to do it now. So what else did I have in mind? Well, I thought to myself, I picked out two more. I picked out this beige one, and I thought I would do, this was going to be my first attempt using the smooth side. And I just thought I would kind of do kind of a grungy thing, lay down some book page. I should try to preserve those numbers. And basically do some embellishing with washi tape, because I have quite a bit, you know, a variety of widths and styles and so on, colors. So wouldn't it be good to, kind of hate to take that off, but keep those little numbers intact if possible. Maybe let's use the rattier part that's down here. This side has more print on it, so I might as well use this side. So this piece has not been sanded. Dare I try? Well, no, better do. It's false economy to try to skip a step. So I'm just going to scratch this up a bit. Again, I'm just doing it over my garbage can to try to minimize. And I'm basically going in any and every direction. I'll just wipe the dust off of my shorts, and then we don't have to wait for drying time. Okay, so I think this is kind of so weird looking here. I guess I can't use all of this. That paper just tears so easily. I don't know where, and that's a foreign language, so let's quickly get some glue on here, and then I'll show you the other one that I have in progress. Well, not in progress, but I did a bunch of decision making before I turned the camera on. And again, I want to sort of, you know, get reasonably close to the top. Now, since that hole is already there, obviously I'm going to use it. I didn't even bother trying to look to see if an eyelet would work there. I think that this hole is a wee bit too big. So I'm just going to count myself lucky that I don't have to set any, set an eyelet. Not that it's an issue, since I figured out how to work that thing. My crocodile, big bite. I was so, I don't know, so dense when it came, when I first bought it. And I'm thinking, why? Oh, why is this so hard? Why do other people seem to be able to do this? And I'm struggling here. Anyway, I don't know what, trial and error, maybe reading the little instructions. Okay, so we have this as a base. Oh, you know what? I didn't get a focal point for this one. But let's add some washi tape. So I have this one, which I could kind of, you know, rip into narrower strips. There is quite a color variation there. And I have this one. This is really nice. It's got a postal cancellation you know, some flowers. It's got that grungy color. It's got script. It has it all, baby. And typically, washi tape looks better if it's torn as opposed to cut. So again, we don't need very much of this at all. That maybe is too much right there. Oh, you know what? I'll just, to be on the safe side, is that gluey? I'll just give it a little swipe with the glue stick. Oh, yeah, typically after I've added the glue, I remember that I don't want a straight edge. So then I do this, get all gooey and gluey. Let's try to get these fingers a little bit clean. And of course, same thing at the top. That kind of tore pretty straight, but that's fine. Okay, so let's, and you know what? I could even, let's see if that looks reasonably straight. I think I'm going to let it wrap around. Not, I guess if I would have been a little more generous with that, I would have saved some trouble back here, but I'll probably have to, I'll have to do something else there anyway, so I guess no biggie. Now, do I want another piece of this, maybe on the other side near the top? This will look slightly different because it won't have any pink on it. Whoopsie. I guess it's just going to be that much. I do tend to, well, it's all the glue, it's the only glue stick I have. I use Yoo-Hoo. That's my, I find that it works well and the price is something I can live with. I've never, I've never had the desire to try Scotch Create. I know a lot of people like it, but I can't justify spending that much. And I'm also, I think, a little too cynical to try a dollar store version. And you have to think about size too. This is 40 grams. Somewhere it says it on here. Yeah, 40 grams, 1.4 ounces. So if you have those dinky little ones that are, 25 or 10 or 15 grams, it's kind of false economy, I think. So since I have that and that, maybe I should try. That's going to look so pale, though. The part I wanted was that bookcase or printer's cabinet or whatever that is. But somebody needs to use this up, so. So I think I'm pleasantly surprised with how things are sticking onto this surface. And again, I didn't do anything extraordinary in the way of preparation other than a bit of sanding. See, I was so happy to have Bibliotech, and then I'm covering it all up. Maybe there. Some of the, oh no, it's in the next one. For the next one, I'm also using a piece of washi tape. Whoops. And it came from the washi tape shop. This was early on in my crafting or in my journal making life, and people raving about it, doing unboxing and whatnot, and discount codes and all of that. And so I succumbed, and I mean, it is nice stuff, but you kind of pay for it too. And I had to pay for shipping too from who knows where. So, and of course, there's no end to how much beautiful washi there is out there. So sometimes it's best probably not to look. I do have this one also that looks like a ticket, but maybe that could go on a bit later. And maybe this, since I was so busy worrying about the other thing I was doing. Maybe I can quickly find a flower in here. And you may be wondering, well, why does she have Ziploc bags in this bigger storage envelope? Well, number one, I think I have something sorted by size. Or here's this beautiful peony. Oh, isn't that beautiful? But I would separate them because that looks like it's, I think this came from, oh yeah, greeting card. Turn that around so it doesn't look so bizarre. But again, you need so little. I don't want to kind of waste a perfectly good image because I'm having to trim too much off. So let me stick with my first plan here. Now, in case you're wondering, these are dryer sheets, and they still have a wee bit of scent to them. So these all must have come out of a very stinky, there's hibiscus. Again, too wide. So I have these strips interspersed between many of these layers, and I think I better stick with the pink family because of that, and hopefully something that's kind of more or less been fussy cut. It's funny that the things can be really small. Oh, most of these are not really fussy cut yet, and I don't want to take your time. Let me just have a quick look. Sorry about this. I think white would probably be lost. Not very effective. Yeah, these are mostly rectangles, and you know, they're out of that, oh, what are those books called? It's a Time Life series, and every book is its own subject matter. So perennials, trees, annuals, cacti, all of those different subjects each got their own book. And of course, Beatrice, they are quite beautiful. I could mix some colors, especially if I mix some sizes. I don't know what this is. Maybe that looks better. Yeah, so obviously these things would make great journal cards. Oh, it would be best to have 2 books, so you don't have to decide. What is this? That little guy was hiding in there. Okay, again, I'm just showing you some possibilities, but you can see I did quite a bit of this fooling around before I even turned on the camera, and I still forgot to look for something for this one. Again, I would want that white gone, so I should be paying attention to the time. Let me put this stuff away. And I may not even finish this because, again, I'm trying to be a little more aware of, 37 minutes. I'm trying to be a little more aware of time. Now, because this is a little bit more on the grungy side, I would probably ink these. Now, is that going to look a bit goofy? Perhaps. If I cut those leaves off, no one would ever know that this plant is cockeyed. And you can see, this is such a tiny thing, and it takes all this time and decision making. So I'm just going to quickly do this just so I can envision if this will work or not. Oh, let's get this part out of here. And this little part here. So I think the next few videos you see will be sort of, you know, kind of quick and easy ideas, because I think that, you know, it's a busy time of year. I think most people, other than people like us, are wanting to get outside, you know, either going on vacation. Is this the thing that's throwing me off here? Or should I even be worried about those pink flowers down there? You know, this way it sort of looks more like a garden. Things are growing in this garden of ours. And there you have what it would look like if someone vomited up pink. I think I'm going to save this peony. my peonies are in bloom. I should be bringing some cut ones in to have it here in the office. I think I'm going to do what I had laid out here and call it a decision. Now, do I want some of this fake greenery here? Let's just quickly, most of this will be covered, but I want the part that's exposed to look like somebody painstakingly, namely Hazel, fussy cut this and didn't just take a shortcut. So these are probably, well, no, I guess those came off there. So botanically speaking, these are the right greens. Now that will have to be trimmed. And then I can live with this. However, I have to make sure that cut edge is hidden. So let's start gluing this down. I think I'll use art glitter glue just for, okay, so the tip of that is barely touching there. We'll obviously want it all within the confines of the, what are we calling this, a bookmark? And I think that each successive layer helps, you know, hold, they help hold each other down. Okay, then I was going to put this in there for a touch of greenery. Mind you, I was going to say, oh, maybe I should cut it down and not use all of it, but that's crazy. That's crazy talk. So I need to speed this up a bit so that I can get to show you the next one. There was one blue sample, a siding sample, so I thought, okay, this might be a challenge, and I try not to shy away from challenges. Let's just see what we can do. Maybe I should put that up a bit and help disguise that straight edge there. I'm surprised that slid since it was art glitter glue. And this kind of seems flat, so I don't know if that was up against the border of something or what, but again, we want that. Maybe I'll glue it like that. It'll help cover that. So, because I had been in my washi drawer, I had a series of tapes, like 3 rolls, I think, maybe 4, in the Van Gogh series. So, like the sunflowers, which are not where they belong, so I don't know where that one is. The irises, which, of course, was the one I was thinking of. And then a couple sort of landscape ones. Now, on something this narrow, obviously we can't have mountains going sideways, nor this village. So I eliminated those, and I am going to be using the iris one. But because it almost reads kind of abstractly, I am going to tilt it on its side. Okay, I think this is pretty good. Now we have to imagine, oh, I could turn, it's a shame that so much is going to be. Maybe I should use this, then I don't have to, you know, cut so much off. So let's just see where this, I think I'll cut it like that, even though that's not how the thing goes. If I angle this like so, I guess one advantage to this is that there was some greenery top and bottom. But I think I don't need to use that one. I will use this one. Do I have, see, I should have kept some of that green. Or maybe I just bring this down a bit more. This is probably the more interesting side, so I'll try to split the difference there. And of course, I don't remember what I just said, so I'll be gluing all the way to the edge, and then I'll have a little mess-a-runo. But that's okay. That seems like quite a bit of glue. Not sure what I was thinking about there. Okay, I said I want more of this. And I guess that's good. It sort of repeats the darker pink and it doesn't quite blend as much. Now, probably this is too thick too. I'll end up having to trim that, but I'll just give that glue a bit of time to dry. Okay, so that obviously is going to need something more. I'll need to find a ribbon or a fiber or a piece of lace. Maybe lace would be good. I don't think I have anything like that right within reach. Hey, I put some seam binding in some leftover coffee the other day. I wonder what I did with it. Hopefully it's not still sitting in that cup. I'll have to look into that. Oh, not very patient. I'll cut this right now. And this. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to introduce some more green. It feels like that's so isolated there, which is too bad. I didn't have something. We'll see. Maybe a green label will do the trick. Okay, so let me quickly show you this and what I have come up with. So that is the color. This is the washi tape, and is that not beautiful on there? It kind of looks abstract. So this one, where's my pokey thing? Has the peel off backing. This is a washi tape shop one. I don't know which end, probably there were 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I don't know, to be honest, if glue is required. Seems pretty sticky, but we'll do our usual thing. And again, I'm using the smooth side of the siding sample. This is a little too wide for the top of the glue, but hopefully if I maybe go side to side, I'll get the edges. And again, it did seem pretty sticky. And again, I've got the torn edges. And I think I decided, and I think this is also beautiful because it has, now I'm going to the right because the hole is on the left. I think I kind of figured that I would offset this and have more of that greeny, yellowy color showing. That looks relatively straight. She said optimistically. Okay, so then you would think to yourself, oh, wouldn't irises be beautiful? And of course, could I find any? No. So I putzed around. Let me show you some of the things that I pulled out and eliminated from my decision making. Because the kind of when I decided on that washi tape, things got clearer. So let's get rid of that. Okay, those are my ultimate choices. So I had all of these, and I'm thinking, well, these are all quite beautiful, and the darker ones, like the Monk's Hood and Delphinium, and that would be great. However, I did not want, it would be midnight if I was still having to fussy cut around all these delicate little things. So I thought, no, I will use all of these things in another project because they go so well together. So that's going to be an idea. This kind of a little far out color-wise. This is more of that coloring book stuff. And again, there's something to be said for this. Actually, maybe it looks better than I thought it did. Although I would probably, there's no white anywhere here, so I would probably feel the need to fussy cut much closer. And of course, get rid of those areas. But as I look, this could work. There's quite a bit of green. There's that blue. I did find these fussy cut irises, but again, the yellow yet, but that pink one annoys me. So eliminate that. There's this, but it's too short. There's this. There's all that white I'd have to get. Here's a cornflower. So I'll show you what I did decide on, even though now nope, not going to do it. In the flower binder, because not only do I have the pouch I showed you, and you may have seen this binder before, I've got pages upon pages. See more of those coloring book things. Poppies, digitals that I've purchased and cut up. At one time, I think I had these sorted by color families. It seems a bit of a hodgepodge now. I never did look in this one, but I think too late now. Anyway, again, you don't have to watch this painful process. But this thing was in there. So I thought, oh, looky there. Oh, see, and now the white is starting to appear. Now, it has this cut edge, because I guess I cut this out of some scrapbooking paper or something. I have these blue columbine, which is very beautiful. And see, the white doesn't look so bad. And then I have this, which is a more solid, bigger, airier flower than those. And then I was thinking, oh, what if that wasn't there? So, right before your very eyes, I'm going to trim. I'm going to get some glue off my finger. And then I'm going to trim this at the place of weakness where it has already folded over. It eliminates me having to cut that white thing out, but I should have done that before I... Oh, quickly. Let me do this. But see, I kind of really like that. Now, I guess the only thing that makes me a bit sad is that the most interesting part of that swirly thing will be gone. Or if I did it that way. Anyway, let me quickly trim this. I shouldn't be doing this on a book because that doesn't exactly glide. But desperate times call for desperate measures. Holy cow, I almost cut through that stem. Yoy. Let's do this. And typically, well, you saw how I sort things. I try not to do this finest stuff at the time of the initial fussy cutting because it's just asking for things to get tangled and torn. So, but I guess the downside of leaving it is that at a moment like this, I find myself having to do this with you watching and waiting. Oi, 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 oi. I'll do these 2 or 3 spots and then we'll be good. But I really am loving how this choice is turning out. Although when I gave, you saw when I gave that, when I was running through those options with you, I was beginning to doubt myself or second guess and think, oh, so there was a second option that could have worked. But I think I like this more, so this is what I'll do. Now, if I had a second sample in the same color, I would definitely do the second version. Okay, I think that will be good enough. So obviously this plays up on the green that's in the washi tape. I think first things first, I kind of want that to cover. So let's glue the columbine down. And look, there's so little that will need to be trimmed off, which is again a bonus. Oh, I lost a poppy here. I just love poppies. They're very symbolic, like very common in whatever part of the Ukrainian culture. And the only thing about them is that they are so very fragile. You look at them the wrong way and fresh ones. You look at them the wrong way and the petals have fallen off. Maybe about so. And who knows, maybe I won't even bother trimming that little thing off there. Again, trying to be aware that there will be something dangling there that will partly cover that up. Now, we don't want this in smack dab in the middle like a bullseye, so maybe this has to go down. Would it look dumb? Yes, it would. Okay, so I'm going to make a teeny tiny little mark right here. So I know that that's where my petal should be. And I think just to avoid putting a whole bunch of glue on, I'm going to just roughly cut this too narrow. Aha. Cut it roughly. Okay, where's my mark? There's my mark. And then I'll trim that, but at least I'm not, putting a whole bunch of glue on that is just going to be wasted. I hope that you are having a nice summer so far. I think there are some, I haven't watched local or international news, but I can only imagine that some of you must be suffering through incredible heat waves and maybe other bizarre and dangerous weather. So I hope that wherever you are, that you are managing to stay healthy and safe. Maybe it would be better if I took a moment to trim this right now, because it might help with the visual placement of the last element. Hey. Hey, 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 we'll see if that needs to go somewhere. And if I turn this slightly, I can get all of this on here. Now I think to, again, anchor it, give it a bit of more of a focal point, because at this point there probably really isn't a focal point. Well, no, I take that back. It's that swirly thing, because that's, I'm sure, where our eyes are going first. But, you know, it never hurts to repeat an element. So I'm going to angle this a bit so that it all fits on here. Or most of it. Now I'm not going to use this butterfly. Nope. I'm not going to use these two blossoms. Don't think so anyway. That's overkill and they're kind of lost there. I have been absolutely negligent, and can't even offer an excuse in not posting to Instagram and by default to Facebook. Like, I guess the part that, because I tape ahead and schedule, you know, 1 or 2 weeks ahead of time, or even longer sometimes, if I take a photo, it's not like I'm not going to post it 2 weeks before the video comes up, because that would be foolish. I feel like this needs to, but how? How? Or do I use, use it here. Turn it this way, it'll cover up more of the, maybe I have to pull this down a bit so it covers the actual. Not exactly what I was thinking, but it'll do. I mean, I would have liked it on the front, but since I didn't plan for it, it seems it would be, it would be forced if I tried to make it work on the front. So let it be a little surprise at the back. Okay, I'll trim that off. I'll pull those other guys in. And of course, you know, if they need, well, they do need tags, not tags, fibers. It's going to be hard picking a favorite. Too bad I have a mess here. Oh. Why do I feel the need to do this? Why? You know what I could do? I could throw it in the garbage. Gone. Oh, I still don't have anything for this lemon one. Where is the other one? Oh, 2 more. Okay, this is in order of completion, or near completion. And you can see everyone has its own aesthetic, its own style, its own vibe. Let's ponder this. It seems a bit isolated there all by itself. I suppose I could look for more of those and see if there's some smaller ones, and I could do a trailing kind of, like this, from smaller to bigger. Is this too much? It almost gets to the point where you can't tell what that was to begin with. Not that that is necessarily a bad thing. Okay, let's take this guy out of the running. So I would say that this is a pretty cool thing. So, don't disregard, like if you've had some construction and maybe someone gave you sample things, like there are all those little Arborite, well, that's a brand name, but those little things for countertops, those little swatches, those would make great journaling cards. I have used this sort of thing in the past. I wish I would have had the presence of mind to go look for some ideas. Of course, I was doing that before junk journaling and journal making became a thing for me. Anyway, I hope that this has sparked some, let's just pretend, has sparked some ideas for you. And maybe it didn't have to be such a, I just wanted to pretend that we had something very tiny. Too wide, too small. It's not cut very well. I mean, more than likely you'd need something sort of like maybe oversized tickets or something. Hey, Carol gave me, where's that? That's nearby here somewhere. I didn't put this away yet. Mind you a bit. Boy, that pocket is a tight squeeze. I don't know, have to ponder this a bit more because it's not going very well. I mean, it's not readily, the idea isn't jumping out at me. Oh, I meant to tell you or show you, yesterday I forced myself to rest. And I found something that I started fussy cutting years ago, I guess. These, I don't know if they came out of some kind of a book, but anyway, are these not beautiful? In fact, I think I was thinking about this for one of them. Another, this one is kind of like an ivory. Oh, linen. Isn't that beautiful? There's also this one. Well, let's pretend that was covered up. But see how organic and artsy-fartsy that looks? So I think that I will, again, off camera, look at some of these, try to use up the rest of them, and then just say, okay, they're done. There are also these floral ones, but there's a curve in that one, so that's probably not that good. There is this one, which is kind of on the narrow side. What would happen if we did this? I should turn it to the side without the writing, so it'll be less distracting. That's probably not so good. See, with this organic curvature, how do you make that better? You can't. You can't. So there's also this, but it's rather short. I have two of these. Person could use another washi tape like I did on that mauve one. And have these go. Oh, brilliant. If I do say so myself. I don't know if white is the right color for that. How about a gray, since we have gray in the... Looks like I'm using the smooth... Whoopsie, I almost broke that leaf off. It kind of looks a little fresher, though, on the white, doesn't it? Or on the linen. But yet, that could be nice, too. So, what I should probably do to protect these, in fact, that's what I will do. I will lay down these little vines, branches, that I've cut. I'll probably leave the flowers as is for the time being, add them to my flower thingamajig. I'll find, other ones to put these on. So I have 4 total of these. So I'll prep them with these vines, because anything that gets added to them, mind you, look at how nice that edge is. And if I did this, then I could cover up the word. And that's a good start. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Or does that ruin it? I hope you can see that. That does change the look, though, doesn't it? And I don't know if it makes it... I can't quite tell if it makes it better or worse. And I probably don't have another page out of that book right here. Okay, clearly I've gone off on a tangent. I do have this little thing here, though. This could be reintroduced. I can afford to use that there because I do have more of these. So I get to do 4 versions. So that will look something like that. And because I take a vow today here in front of you to post to Instagram and Facebook more regularly. And because of that vow, you will get to see photos of this when it is done. When they are done. that, to me, that looks beautiful all by itself. I think I have to play around with it a bit. But you know, it doesn't have to have everything, including the kitchen sink, on it to make it good. Can't leave it. Can't leave it alone. And, you know, that could just sit there waiting. Add a nice little yellowed, add something like this color. I'm sure I have more of this. Let that be the fiber in the hole. At some point, add a vintagey label. Something like this. And we have liftoff. Okay. This is a necklace. Too white. Okay. Isn't it past your bedtime? Oh, it's after 11. Okay, guys. Managed to do it again. Managed to get it over an hour. I hope that you have found value in this. And I realize that you may not have exactly siding samples sitting in your office, your studio, waiting to be, you know, used. But all of these ideas, every idea that you see, whether it's on YouTube, in a book, in a magazine, on TV, most ideas are transferable. With the right amount of imagination, most ideas are transferable in some way to what we're doing. So anyway, good night. See you in the next one.